Hello and welcome to Labour Lens. I am Sharon Ijason. On this week edition of the program, we'll be discussing about the forthcoming Nigerian general elections in 2023 and workers' agitation. We also have news stories for you. We will be right back. The Nigerian Labour Congress and the National Union of Food, Beverage and Tobacco Employees picketed Dogan Sugar Limited over alleged anti-labor practices. Labour accused the company of alleged inhuman treatment of workers.
We got very useful information that they have been doing a whole lot of anti-labor activities, dehumanization of workers here, and exploitation of the workers. Casualization is on the very high level, and also sexual harassment is happening right inside this company. And that was why Nigeria Labour Congress was invited to come and rescue the workers who were working like a jackal and being remunerated like ants. And that was why NLC looked for the appropriate union to come in and unionize this worker. After all, it's a law in Nigeria that where you have 50 or more workers, there is right to unionization and association.
The company have refused bluntly. They have continued to carry on with impunity all manners of anti-labor, anti-workers, unfair labor practice. They have been sexually harassing ladies working here. They have been attending flimsy reasoning. They will terminate and sack workers without any benefit. They have been doing things as if they are not operating within this country where there's rules, laws, and order. What they are doing here is modern day slave labor. You can never imagine the quantum of atrocity that is being committed by the management, especially the white staff there. They see the Nigerian workers as sex toys, as people that can be abused without anybody challenging them. So that is why it's a very responsible union. We are alive to our responsibility. We are here to ensure that we enforce what the law says.
Responding to the allegations, the operations manager Dogan Sugar Limited, Paul Ekele, said the company has never had any meeting with the union. He added that the company or the workers are not interested in unionization.
The situation on ground is that when I see rowdiness and to maintain decorum is to invite the police. And when the police came, the area commander said we should come to his office to settle. We have never gotten any grievances from any of our staff concerning any maltreatment. A union can never come from outside to unionize an organization without an insider thing. We have not gotten anything from them. I am surprised when coming to office today and our office has been blocked by these people from outside. So I am confused.
Civil servants in Niger State have begun an indefinite strike. The Nigerian Labour Congress and the Nigerian Union of Local Government Employees (NOGLE) announced that the action was informed by a breach in the negotiation between government and Labour. NOGLE chairman Idris Lafene, in a brief interview, said the strike is indefinite over the non-payment of salaries, retirees, gratuities, and non-remittance of deductions made on workers' salaries in the state. He added that the local government workers are not happy with receiving fragmented salaries.
We are on strike in Niger State because of percentage payment to local government workers' salary, the non-implementation of consequential adjustment, and then non-implementation of promotion and annual increment, and some fundamental issues which we have started discussing with the government, but we refuse to call off our strike because we said this percentage payment should be stopped outrightly. By February, no local government worker have collect his salary because the government is offering 70%, which we reject. But we said if the government will pay 100% by February, we will now call off the strike and sit down on round table to discuss. So actually, this is why we are on strike.
The NLC has organized this political conference for purposes of not just selling its own charter of the mind, but getting opinions that are agreeable to the intention of NLC. And like we have learned, intention certainly is not enough to change the narrative. Our commitment and resolute is more needed. But most importantly now is strategy. It's a game of strategy, and we must be flexible with it in such a way that you don't adopt a pattern that may not help you and you are still continuing. So by the grace of God, NS is going to engage more strategies in working out ways and means in achieving this desire, because it's a breaking news. When people are already crying, seeking for help, the activities of Nigeria now is who will help. So this undertaking must proceed, and then NSC will do everything humanly possible as a matter of fact, engaging all the lawful needed areas in this matter in ensuring that this very engagement does not suffer. So we're going to do everything to ensure that NSC produce leadership that eventually will believe in Nigeria and will represent Nigeria. What we have now is zero, and we cannot continue this way. Nigeria must not collapse. That is the campaign.
For Nigerian Labour Congress to get themselves involved in the political development of this country, and the need for them to synergize with political parties so that they can be able to move the country forward. I think it's a welcome development, and it's something that we believe that if we all have the interest of this country, that we should continue to have a buy-in in such development, because the workers are the downtrooders, and the workers are the people that are feeling the impact of any political irrationality or any policies that are neoliberal policies. And such policies, of course, we know affect the workers. So our interest mostly lies on how to protect the fundamental rights and privileges of Nigerian workers. And that is why this important development of joining a political party or floating a political party that could galvanize and help the Nigerians, the people of Nigerians, and the workers itself, so that they can foster the interests of their members. And that will, of course, to an extent, help in reshaping the political clan of this country. And knowing fully well that we can't continue to have two major political parties in the country, then if we're able to flow another political party, or equally have a synergy with other political allies, then it can reshape the political development in this country, and of course gears towards development of this country.
The position we have is that we need to reset Nigeria. There is a determination by the working people that it cannot be business as usual anymore with regards to electoral process, with regards to governance, and we are determined to carry our message to every nook and cranny of the country. And the nice thing is we had a cross-section of Nigerians, from the academia to industrialists, Nigerian Society of Engineers, road transport employers and employees, all sectors of the economy, all working people, teachers, nurses, air transport workers, students, even the ethnic nationalities youth groups. We're all here. And there is a determination that they are willing to work with the Nigerian Labour Congress leading to fashion the way forward for the country, and that we need to get out of where we are. So the resetting of Nigeria is no more in doubt.
Effort of NLC in the past and the present, it gives us an inspiration that in the nearest future there is going to be a better politicking among the workforce and leading other allied in rescuing the Nigerian polity from the hand of people that have actually laid siege to it.
As the slogan says, labor creates wealth, and they will be the best manager of the wealth they created. And that is why we say it's no longer a time for labor to stay behind, but labor to be participative, active in politics.
On the profile interview segment this week, I will be speaking with the national president of the Nigerian Labour Congress, who also doubles as the national president of ITUC. It brings us up to speed on the need for a political party by the Nigerian working people, and also the need for good governance, which will in turn promote decent work in Nigeria. Nigerian Labour Congress decided to have a workers' political conference. Can you bring us up to speed why it's expedient for us to be having this conference at this point in time?
Well, thank you very much. Nigerian Labour Congress or Nigerian workers also have a lot of interests that need to be protected, be it as citizens or be it as workers. As workers, as the slogan is that workers are not slaves. Workers also have some fundamental rights. As citizens, also we have some expectation, at least good governance, at least that Nigerians should have a decent way of living. But importantly, even on issues of development, we need to progress beyond where we are today. So as we approach the 2023 election cycle, we thought that we shouldn't also, as an organization, just approach it without having our own agenda. We should be able to set our own agenda for political engagement with all the key political actors. So basically is to look at what is the interest of Nigerian workers, that is as workers, and what will be our interest, even within the larger picture of the Nigerian states. How do we want our country to progress? So basically that is how we have thought it wise to have this conference where we bring our leadership from all walks of life, also bring our membership, and then have a discourse about a direction and also developing an agenda that will actually be used at all levels to engage in the political process or in the political dispensation that is unfolding. So basically, that is how the concept of this conference evolved. And at the conference, we're also able to share with our leadership and our members our charters of demand. This charter of demand actually was developed after the second NLC Peace and Security Summit that took place here in Abuja at the International Conference Center. Part of the resolutions of that Peace and Security Summit is the fact that workers should develop in their own charter of demand and use it for proper political engagement. That as a membership-based organization, we should not just be followers. No, we should have our own agenda. We should have our own BRS minimal that we should put on the table to discuss, to negotiate, and also to pursue, even as we go into the dispensation.
Can you share some of this?
Yes, there are about 10 points charters of demand. First and foremost on the list is the fact that education we thought is fundamental for building any society. An informed society will be an enlightened society, will be a citizens that can actually hold their leaders accountable. And we thought that many, many people in this current dispensation have been alienated from access to quality education. Education is being privatized because many of our universities cannot actually observe all those that are applying on a yearly basis. And private universities have become too expensive that even workers, the working class, cannot even send their children to those schools. So basically, we thought that government need to intervene. As a country, we are rich, that we can be able to afford quality, free education to a certain level to all Nigerian children, and that it should be made compulsory. Because what has actually assisted, even in the First Republic, particularly in Western Nigeria, is the policy of free education by a who, which we think is something that progressively every of our elites should actually made it now as a policy. So basically what we have tried to also propose there is that once you are an office holder, then you should actually be limited from sending your children abroad for schooling. We thought it's not leadership by example. Leadership by example entails that they should send their children also to public schools. In the First Republic, our universities are ranking among the best in the world. And I can say this without hesitation. In fact, it was recently I realized that my deputy, one of my deputy president at the International Trade Union Confederation, Kathy Fingold from America, she was telling me that she schooled in University of Ibadan. I was so surprised She is presently the vice president of the American Federation of Labor with 14 million members and with a lot of influence. So she's my deputy president at the International Trade Union Confederation. And when we were sharing this, she told me how Nigeria used to be, that Nigeria used to be one of the best hubs for education in the whole of sub-Saharan Africa. And that's why even from the US, she was able to come here and study. So basically, we need to return our country to the basis. And the best way to do that, including driving the process of transformation, is actually to allow the children of the poor to have quality education, just as the children of the rich will have quality education. And how can we do that? It's education justice. There must be justice in the system. And our teachers also must be well remunerated. In other climes, actual university professors are the best paid because they have acquired the highest level of education. Any professional today that is earning higher, certainly he got that knowledge from his teachers. But alas, in Nigeria today, no one of our professors receives even 500,000. None of our professors. That I've confirmed. And therefore, we cannot progress. First degree, second degree, third degree, some fourth degree, fifth degree. Yet they cannot earn 500,000 naira. There is no way we can retain them. That's why in many of the universities around Southern Africa, there are many, many Nigerians that are actually in their universities. So we thought that is the first step and that is the minimum. Secondly is the issue of healthcare delivery. We thought that Nigerians should be able to access quality healthcare and it should be made affordable. We have a time in this country when our health facilities are among the best in the world. So we want such a situation. And we can actually do that if we also prohibit political office holders from seeking medical help abroad by making sure also that they access healthcare here in Nigeria. If we do that, then we are going to upgrade our facilities. We are going to appreciate our health workers. We are going to appreciate our doctors. And the system is going to run well. Because health and education are the two indices used in measuring the development of every country. That's why you hear indices like mortality rate, infant mortality and morbidity, life expectancy. All of these are used to actually measure development. And literacy rate. So basically, we think that any program of any government that workers will support must have these two ingredients. The ingredients actually address this issue. And fundamentally, it's also the social sector. You are aware that youth unemployment is becoming an ISO. First, it's even the employment opportunity. We have a lot of employment opportunities that if we're able to think out of the box and drive policies and programs that will actually change the narrative is possible. And through manufacturing, we are sure that we can create millions of jobs.
So don't you think that more needs to be done at the state level in terms of harnessing our potential?
We are not talking of states. We are not talking of only federal. I said the document is for engagement at local government level, at state level, and at the national level, because states have their role to play. Local government have their role to play. That's why we are advocating for local government autonomy. If they have their resources, we know the minimum they can provide. So this is a whole, the whole gamut of the idea of having a document to engage the process. Let me share maybe two of them that are also important, which is the issue of industrialization. It's really unfortunate that today Nigeria is merely a trading post. We trade our raw material and then import finished products, including toothpick, which everybody have been lamenting. So we want a policy, a progressive policy of industrialization. And we can start with the issue of oil and gas. For 40 years, NLC have been very consistent on this issue. Can't we have refining capacity to refine product that God has given us free of charge and then drive our process of industrialization? This is one area that promises have been made, but promises have not been kept. And we thought it's one fundamental. It's not just about selling them, selling our refineries because they are scrap. They are not scraps. And saying that, oh, we cannot be able to refine. It's not rocket science. Refineries can be built within 18 months, including modular refineries. Today, the cost of gas is more than 410 naira per liter. There is no way our agri-produce can be brought home or to markets without the cost being exorbitant. That's why the cost of food items can never come down. And diesel is the most easiest commodity actually to refine. It can be refined with modular refineries. So basically, there is a policy mismatch. And all of these things I'm saying have been captured in our Charter of Demand. And anybody seeking political office, we are going to engage them. There will be town hall meetings from councillor, local government, House of Assembly, governors will have our own town hall independent meeting to assess them and work with them. There must be documentation. In all the climes I've mentioned, from UK to South Africa, to all the Scandinavian countries, to Australia, unions have played major role. To Kenya, unions have played major role in having their own agenda for political engagement, which will then form their opinion in electing leaders that can actually address the ills in the society, not mere promises. We are tired of mere promises.
As the president of ITUC, can you bring us up to speed on the global perspective of having workers actively participate in politics?
Yes, I can share with you from the global perspective, from my very little experience as the president of ITUC. First, I will start with the country we refer to as possibly the model of democracy around the world, United States. In the last election, American Federation of Labor, through a policy they called Work in America, worked assiduously to have their agenda on the table. They had primaries between the two candidates that they thought meet their criteria to be elected, Ben Sanders and the current President Biden. It was in Atlanta, Georgia. I was in that meeting. And in the course of the primary election, actually Biden won. Workers said, no, we are going to vote for Biden. And they went to the field. And they voted for him. The first 5 appointments he did was actually from the trade unions. The first person he hired from the Labor Commission was somebody that was actually like a thorn in the flesh of workers of America. He was the first person to say, in that agreement, there was the issue of reviewing the minimum wage from the current amount to $10, $15 per hour. And already he has put the document before the parliament. He was the first president to say he is not ashamed to be called a union president because unions built America. Unions built strong middle class. And that is what America needs. He says so. Same with South Africa. It's a good model. Cyril Ramaphosa was the general secretary of the Mines Union. There is an alliance between ANC, the ruling party, and COSATU, our counterpart. And they have held power. They have ministerial slots. They have appointments. And they can engage policies from within, not from outside. From within, you engage policies. And you get a better bargain. UK is an example that I don't need to share. Labour Party in UK was formed by the unions. For 150 years, Labour Party in the UK was in the teachers' union office. 150 years before they got their office. And they won election. They held power at the highest level. And they have progressive policies. Same with Brazil. Lula was our counterpart. He formed the Workers' Party. First, second attempt, they were able to win election. He brought 40 million workers from below the poverty line to the middle class. And that's why he left the office with 90% popularity. He single-handedly picked his chief of staff to take over from him before capital now start coming in. And what we think as workers, we want also to be on the agenda on the table. So these are the clear issues that actually motivated NLC as a pan-Nigerian organization, as an organization that cannot be divided along ethnic, religious, or any other sentiment. Because if a worker is not paid, it's not only one worker from the north or south or because of your religious belief. No, we go to the same market. And that's why we are more bounded than any of them that are preaching either north or no. Our own is the president not coming from south. No, we want the best for the country. And if we want the best, we want to put our agenda on the table. How do we negotiate our agenda? How do we document it to hold you responsible and accountable? Not that you elect somebody today and the first thing he will do is to try to shave your head in your absence. That's what happened. The first thing that was done was even to try to outlaw NLC. To say deregulate NLC and remove them even from, remove minimum wage. That's what some of our politicians are taking. So how do you think we should take all of that for granted? That even our survival is threatened by some politicians because they don't want strong institutions. We want strong institutions. It's strong institutions that will stand the test of time. That's why we want, one, the independence of the judiciary. Because there is no way you can get justice dispensed without fear or favor if the judiciary will be going cap in hand, actually begging for resources to make the courts work effectively. No. We want independence for the state houses of assembly. We don't want a situation where laws are actually passed in the night without actually even engaging the people. Public hearings. We don't want all of that. And that can be made possible if they are truly independent, so that people can then hold them accountable. We want the local government system to work. In the past, we have seen how our local government system have worked. In fact, we have been able to make some comparative analysis between 1999 and 2003, when INEC conducted elections for all the local governments in Nigeria and the performance index. We have seen it. In fact, I remember at that time, Obasanjo went to a local government and awarded that chairman as the best local government in Nigeria, best local government chairman in Nigeria, with over 247 projects, which Obasanjo commissioned himself. So this is the type of thing we want to bring back. And we thought that this is a very progressive position that all Nigerians need to actually support. We are going to have a broader platform to bring in professional groups. We are going to bring the women group. We are going to bring the youths because they are children. We are going to bring different professionals. But basically also is to bring our academicians and technocrats that will actually guide our process of engagement, which is what is happening in other clans. In other clans, people don't come just to seek election for the sake of seeking it. No, we'll ask them, what agenda do you have? What have been your antecedents? So as a pan-Nigerian organization, as a membership-based organization, this was the decision of our organ, and we thought it's a very progressive decision, and that is why we started the first leg with actually this workers' political conference. It's going to be scaled down to zonal, wards, local government. Then we are going to have the grand finale, which we hope will take place at the Eagle Square. And then basically also we'll follow up with the Labour Party, which some people tried to hijack. Luckily, we have a court judgment that have confirmed that the party belongs to NLC. It was formed by the NLC, and it was a constant judgment. We are aware that some elements in INEC are trying to frustrate that, but it's also part of the plan, actually, to engage them both on the streets.
Thank you very much for your time. Of course, there's an urgent need to bridge the gap between the rich and the poor. We need the middle class.
Yes, the middle class in Nigeria today doesn't exist. You have only the poor and the rich. And we have over 90% that are actually poor. And then you have possibly less than 10% that are rich. We have many Nigerians around the world, professionals that are doing the best. They are making us proud, but we need to bring them home actually to drive the process of development and also for them to contribute. And we should be able to build a stronger middle class if we have good policies that will be able to make sure that we're able to produce instead of becoming net importers of finished products.
And that's all we can take on today's edition of the program. Join us next week for a fresh edition of the show. I am Sharon Ijason. Thanks for watching, and remember that labor creates wealth.